Hi Year 5s, it's Mrs. Battle here. So today's video is just going to be tips on narrative writing. Now I'm sure you all know what a narrative is. So a narrative is a story text. The story is fiction and its purpose is to entertain. So this is the method that you can use to structure your narrative writing. Nearly all narratives fit this structure, where first you are setting the scene, or the exposition. Then you have a problem in the story. Then there's the rising action. And then the peak of your narrative is the climax. And then you have the falling action. And finally, a resolution where the problem is solved. Okay? So, the exposition, or the beginning, is where you set the scene by introducing your characters, the setting, and the time of the story. So you need to establish your who, when, and where in this part of your narrative. Okay, and then you have the problem or conflict, and this is the middle bit where in this section, activities and events involving your main character are expanded upon. Okay, which ties in with the climax where the problem worsens. And then you have finally the resolution or the ending. And it does not have to be a happy outcome, however. So here's an example of a short narrative so you get a clearer picture of the structure. So we begin with the setting or the exposition. One fine day, Robin Hood was looking for adventure in the forest when he met an old man dressed in poor clothes. Then we have the conflict. Robin swapped clothes with the old man, took his bow and arrow and went into town. As he was looking around, the sheriff's men grabbed hold of him because they thought he was an outlaw. Followed by the climax and then the resolution. The soldiers laughed and let Robin go to the contest. When it was Robin's turn, he put all his arrows into the bullseye. The sheriff was surprised and gave Robin a bag of silver. "Tell me, old man, where did you learn to shoot like that?" And finally, there's the ending. "A man called Robin Hood taught me," Robin replied as he hobbled away, laughing to himself. Okay, so use this structure to plan your narrative. So here are some helpful tips to make your narrative story really engaging and entertaining for the reader. So you need to try and hook the reader, and you can do this by including some form of dialogue or conversation, some questioning, some vivid imagery and description, lots of interesting facts and sound effects. You can try and use the 5 senses for description, as you can see in the example here. So, as I ran towards the door, I heard footsteps behind me. I felt the chill of unease run down my spine. It was terrifying. So you've got the sense of hearing and touch. Also, don't just tell something directly or obviously in your narrative, but try and show it. For example, here's an example of tell. Brian was angry. He started to yell. Okay, but if you were to show Brian is angry and yelling, you could show it by saying, Brian pursed his lips and clenched his fists into tight balls. Try as he might, he could not contain himself. Within seconds, he erupted like a volcano. Also try and use figurative language to make your writing a lot more interesting. So all that you've learned over the years, things like similes, metaphors, alliteration, onomatopoeia, personification. And finally, try and use conversation or dialogue. Vary your sentence beginnings and structure. Okay, try adding compound and complex sentences. Use wow words. Use interesting verbs. And use vivid details and imagery. Okay, so to create a better picture in the reader's mind. So I hope you found these tips useful, and try and remember these points when you write your narrative next time. And I'll see you again soon. Bye.